Hello, hello, hello. This is Adrienne Obi, Capricorntigress of Astrology, a look inside, coming to you with the astrological aspects for the sign. Well, my take on it anyway. For the sign of Scorpio for May of 2019. So, hello, Scorpio. I wasn't sure if I was going to do this tonight, and I may not show this. I'm actually doing this unlisted because I'm tired, and you can see it in my countenance. And Scorpio, Saturn is retrograde, and Pluto is about to go retrograde tomorrow. Or is that right? Yes. Anyway, I feel it. I feel it. I look it. I feel it. Okay. And you Scorpios, I've got Venus in Scorpio. I got Venus on my 10th house. Or it's not Venus on my 10th house. I've got Scorpio on my 10th house. It's got a Scorpio midheaven. I'm exhausted. And as you can see, I'm not even thinking clearly. But I told myself I was going to do this. And so I'm doing this. Okay. So I'm looking here at where the emphasis is for you Scorpios. And really the emphasis is in the area of the 7th house, is in the area of partnerships. It's other people, like partners, marriage partners, like your husband, your wife, your significant other, whoever you've been with for a significant amount of time, or whoever you consider to be your significant other. That's highlighted this month. And that's highlighted in a big way. I mean, the area of like relationships and other people, and partnerships and marriage. It really played up a great deal because the sun is going to be in the 7th house in Taurus. And Mercury is going to be in the 7th house in Taurus. And Venus is going to be in the 7th house in Taurus. And Uranus is going to be in the 7th house in Taurus. And the new moon on the 4th of May is going to be in the 7th house of Taurus. There's a lot of emphasis in the 7th house of Taurus. And that is, now it could be that there's, if you've got an enemy out there, someone for sure is an enemy. I mean, it can mean enemies. I mean, if you got one. If you got one, be careful because this is the month they might go crazy. This is an enemy month, obviously. So, just be aware of that this is enemy time. Yeah. But the funny thing is the sun and Mercury and Venus there tells me that even if it is a time of where there might be jealousies, perhaps, because that's Scorpio, right? And you've got Chiron in the 6th house. I could see where there could be some issues maybe coming in from the work area because of that. But the other thing is that the ruler of the 7th house naturally is Libra. And Libra is in your natural 12th house. So, there could be some hidden things going on in the area of partnerships and marriage. There's a lot going on in the 7th house. It could just mean that you've got a lot of private time, that you're getting a lot of private time with your significant other, hopefully, and that and that it's loving. But I'm just hoping that it doesn't mean that either you or your significant other is involved in a hidden affair of some kind. I don't want that to be the case. Let's hope that's not the case, Scorpio. So, another area of emphasis for you guys would be the 8th house. And the 8th house is the area that has Gemini. And Gemini is going to have some emphasis in the month because as of the 21st, the Sun and Mercury go into Gemini in that 8th house. And Mars is going to be in the 8th house in Gemini most of the month, up until it goes into Cancer, I think on the 16th, if I'm not mistaken. And that's the 9th house, and the North Node is in the 9th house. So you've got a little bit of emphasis coming from the 7th, 8th, and 9th houses. And with it having so much emphasis on the partners and the partnership house, I would just say be wary of that, be cautious of that, because on the 18th of May, there's going to be a full moon in Scorpio at 27 degrees of Scorpio. And that is going to be, representing the first house of you. So that shows you, the Scorpio, getting emotional, maybe having an emotional moment. I mean, it could mean an outburst, but it could just mean an emotional moment, or a moment that touches your emotions. With so many planets in the 7th house at this time, coming from that angle, well, I don't think they'll make any aspects. I really don't, not at 27 degrees. But you'll definitely feel it, Scorpio, in your first house. That's the moon. The moon is emotional. It's emotions. You might cry that day. Something might come out of the blue that day. So that knocks you for a loop. That makes you feel like you want to cry, maybe. I mean, it could just be that you're emotional. It could be something where you have more day. You might spend more time with women that day. The full moon always represents women, and maybe even the mothering instinct in you. So you might find yourself wanting to be around, mothering, being more mothering to others in some way, maybe even to your partner, since there's so much emphasis on the partner. One thing I would say is, with Neptune transiting the 5th house as it has been, I would just be really cautious of being clear about partnerships. Like, it is possible you could be deceived in partnerships. It is. I mean, Neptune's there. So that is possible. And there's a lot of emphasis on partnerships, Scorpio. I mean, I would say that you definitely are involved in some type of partnership in this month. Don't forget, Jupiter went retrograde in your 2nd house of money, and Pluto and Saturn are going to be retrograde in your 3rd house of communications and local travel. So be just cautious around local travel, in your car, stuff like that. You might find that you have to do more traveling for work and stuff like that. And also you might find it, because Jupiter went retrograde in the 2nd house of money, that you just don't feel like your money is coming in as quickly as you would want it to. Now, Mars up in the 8th house might change that, because Mars, when the Sun goes into the 8th house with that on the 21st, the Sun and Mercury, I could see money coming. You might have money coming. Definitely, Scorpio. So be aware of that. Money could be coming your way, my friend. Well, I am actually more tired than I thought, and I'm glad I got through this. I mean, I got got to the basics of what I needed to tell you for the month, and what I think is the most important part of the month. I would say, by the way, when Mars gets into Cancer up in the 9th house, you might feel a need to either publish something online, maybe, or I would say publish something or travel. You might even decide you want to go back to school or something, but that's, that might be temporary. That's when Mars gets into the 9th house. It does that. It makes you get wanderlust and stuff like that. So just be aware of that. Okay, my Scorpio friends, thank you so much for putting up with me. I know I've been just barely getting through this reading, but I got through it. You know what I mean? We got there. And don't forget, I'm going to come back to you over the course of the month. I'm sure I'll have a mid-month. I usually do that. I usually do a few rambles, and I almost always talk about Scorpio because I got it on my midheaven and my Venus is there. So be sure to listen in for those. And don't forget, make sure you like, share, and subscribe our videos right here on Facebook. Thank you so much for that. And also, you can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/astrology a look inside. And I also have a group where I give free mini readings, and that is facebook.com/groups/astrology a look inside. And lastly, you can find me on Patreon at patreon.com/Capricorntigress. And I almost forgot our blog website at astrologyaLookInside.com. Well, much love, much light to you all. Have a great day and a great week. Bye now.